When the Audi A5 Sportback was first introduced, it caught everyone by surprise, but created a bit of confusion, as the idea of having another four-door compact luxury sedan the size of the A4 seemed to be rather redundant. With buyers no longer interested in cars, since crossovers have clearly become the vehicle of choice by Americans, manufacturers had to design and engineer an alternative to keep sedans alive, at least for the short term. The Audi A5 Sportback and BMW 4 Series Gran Coupe was the Germans' answer to this problem, and while some consumers were hesitant at first, the value proposition began to make more sense when compared to the traditional sedans like the A4 and BMW 3 Series. So here are 5 reasons why you should buy an Audi A5 Sportback. Where cars have lost their appeal, even for consumers who aren't transporting a family on a weekly commute, is with the total lack of practicality. While you may save a few $1,000s by choosing a sedan over a crossover, it's difficult to justify buying a vehicle that falls short in every category besides performance and driving dynamics. In regards to that practicality, if you were to cross-shop an Audi A4 to the A5 Sportback, the A4's 12 cubic feet of room behind the second row of seats pales in comparison to the Sportback's 22 cubic feet. Also factor in the power liftgate, which adds some convenience when walking back to your car with groceries in your hand, and you have a car that takes some elements from a crossover and brings it over to a sedan. Now, some may point out that with the Sportback, you're sacrificing interior space with the sloping roofline. But as we discussed in our review, it's not as claustrophobic as you think. Since we are on the topic of dimensions, let's take a look at the second row seating area for the A5 Sportback. Now, a lot of people are going to complain that, oh, you are missing out on some headroom, but actually it's the legroom that's more important that you miss out on with the A5 Sportback. You actually lose around maybe 6/10 of an inch, which is a bit more than the headroom that you're missing out on. Now, I still think this is more than practical for a lot of people who are not looking to buy a crossover right now, especially if you have maybe average-sized adults sitting in the second row or you have smaller children. What I also like too is that when you are comparing this to a BMW 4 Series Gran Coupe, it's more practical, but also more spacious as well. So compared to its closest rival, and really its only rival if we're going to take a look at Sportbacks and Gran Coupes, the A5 Sportback is probably the better choice. But for someone at my height, around 5'5", I'm more than comfortable. Shoulder room is more than adequate, especially since the A5 Sportback is a compact sedan. Now, of course, you're not going to be fitting a third person in the center here because with the A5 Sportback, it is more Grand Tourer-like, so you get those attributes, you get those characteristics, but I think it is worth paying for, especially when you take a look at the practicality with that cargo area, but also even just the design that the A5 Sportback is offering. And it's for that reason, if you insist on not purchasing a crossover, the A5 is your best option right now on the market. As we're seeing across the automotive sector, manufacturers have completely bought into the futuristic yet minimalist cabin designs, where physical buttons and dials have been removed to reduce clutter, but to also centralize all functions to the head unit, which has been met with some criticism from car shoppers. With BMW and Mercedes Benz fully on board with this trend, Audi truly is one of the last luxury brands that provides an ergonomic interior layout that not only visually captures your attention, but as you interact with the technology, the experience feels natural where you're not left confused or frustrated. Standard for the Premium Plus and Prestige trims, Audi's virtual cockpit is still the most intuitive display we have on the market, as it blends seamlessly into the dashboard. But also, this screen is fully customizable with a resolution and quality that still to this day hasn't fully been replicated by rivals. Then moving over to the infotainment system, you'll have a 10-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility to go along with onboard navigation. This is Audi's latest MMI user interface that offers a clean and responsive layout. While it may not be the most detailed screen in the luxury car market these days, its simplicity makes it a great pairing for a driver who prefers to not get distracted by in-depth touchscreens. Despite the lack of quick access buttons, and the removal of the rotary dial that was found on the center console for pre-facelifted models, the icons on the screen resemble a touchpad, so it should become second nature to use rather quickly. Even better, beneath the screen, you'll have physical dials and buttons for the climate control and heated and ventilated seats if equipped on your A5 Sportback, making everything within arm's reach and very user-friendly. Audi has never been one to overstyle their vehicles with unnecessary aesthetic features, and yet somehow they've consistently produced classy sedans and crossovers that appear sleek and cutting edge. Captivating and a staple of the B9.5 generation, the A5 Sportback's road presence garners attention, but also respect as it passes you by, which can be seen as a stark difference compared to the large kidney grills found on the BMW 4 Series, that for some is an acquired taste. Distinguishing the A5 Sportback from its A4 sibling, there are some minor cosmetic cues, specifically with the body lines that swoop around the front fenders, but also the more dynamic bumper that adds some definition to the front fascia. A welcoming cosmetic element, even for the A5, but also seen on the A4, is the honeycomb grille, which in the past was only reserved for Audis wearing the RS badge. Brushed aluminum and chrome accents bring a subtle color contrast, but if you want a lower profile look, paying extra for the black optic package would be recommended, as the sleek and sporty aesthetics fits the A5 quite nicely. A highlight for the 2023 and 2024 model years is the standard matrix design LED headlights, which gives the A5 a modern and futuristic road presence, even with this generation getting up there in age. Then coming around to the back, the Sportback rear fascia with the coupe-like C-pillars is a defining feature for this sedan that ultimately sets it apart from the A4. And it's the final third where the design language differs the most. The muscular rear bumper, subtle deck-lid spoiler, and swooping LED taillights bring some aggression to the A5. And while not as visually appealing as what you'll find on the S5, the trapezoidal exhaust outlets finishes off the classy and understated appearance of this car. Throughout the years, Audi has been admired for their approach to the luxury market, where their vehicles will fly below the radar with an understated road presence. Yet they've seemed to master the ability to be unassuming, desirable, and surprising all in one package. And that pretty much sums up the driving dynamics for the Audi A5 Sportback, or any car for that matter that's built on Volkswagen Audi's MLB Evo platform. Under the hood, the A5 is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, producing 261 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque for 45 TFSI models, and 201 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque for the base 40 TFSI, and both come with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. While many will feel inclined to pay a premium for the sportier S5 Sportback, as Audi does a better job at balancing performance and luxury than most competitors, it wouldn't be a stretch to suggest that the A5 is more than enough for car shoppers, as the potent powertrain should satisfy drivers with a lead foot. With a 0 to 60 time of around 5.4 seconds, this sedan is spry and quick to respond, while simultaneously providing an opulent ride quality. But it's not all about straight line speed, as the A5's fluid and direct steering makes driving on back roads very pleasant. And while this car is not paired with a sports tuned suspension, you'll have the confidence to approach a sharp corner at higher speeds. Unlike the BMW 4 Series Grand Coupe or even the Alfa Romeo Giulia, which are more dynamic in nature, the A5 Sportback takes a middle-of-the-road approach, with its definite signs of refinement and quality and luxury, but it's not sedated or underwhelming like you'd experience with a Volvo S60 or Cadillac CT5. It's a near-perfect blend of what a luxury sedan should be in 2023, while not giving you so much where there isn't incentives to upgrade to the S5 Sportback, which will likely draw in a more enthusiast-focused consumer demographic. Maybe a bold statement to make with a number of worthy competitors in this market, The Audi A5 Sportback is a clear-cut favorite to be the best four-door sedan you can buy right now. While it's not the most dynamic to drive when compared to the Alfa Romeo Giulia and BMW 4 Series Gran Coupe, nor is it the most futuristic, as Mercedes Benz is offering a spaceship-like cabin with the C300, the A5 Sportback is the most well-rounded car in this segment. Not only is the practicality appealing for shoppers who refuse to buy a crossover, but its luxurious interior and opulent ride quality is perfect for those desiring the best from a German sports sedan. Its balanced on-road demeanor is a rarity in this segment, and if you find yourself wanting more, Audi has you covered with an S5 or RS5 Sportback, which will be even more equipped to meet your demands. We hope you enjoyed this quick buyer's guide for the Audi A5 Sportback. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And if you're interested in buying an A5 or any other luxury sedan, make sure to check out our full reviews to help you find your next vehicle. And thanks for watching.